The Adena culture is one of the earliest known pre-Columbian societies in North America, and they thrived over 2,000 years ago in the Ohio River Valley and across parts of present-day West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. Between 1000 BC and 100 AD, the Adena people constructed very impressive earthworks, and they left behind monumental burial mounds, lookout mounds, effigy mounds, and the like. And they created a fascinating legacy that continues to spark curiosity among archaeologists, historians, researchers, and YouTubers like myself. And even the general public, of course, we're all the general public, right? But amidst their rich archaeological discoveries lies one particularly intriguing mystery: the phenomenon of elongated skulls. And this phenomenon is a phenomenon that has occurred all throughout ancient history. And of course, that is of no difference here for the Adena culture right here in North America, if you, of course, live here. In this narration, I'm going to be exploring the Adena culture, its archaeological significance, and the controversial subject of elongated skulls as we piece together the ancient puzzle of this fascinating civilization. So, who exactly is the Adena culture? Well, the Adena culture is more or less kind of a foundation of Native American history in a way. The Adena culture is often considered one of the earliest Woodland period societies of Native American or Indigenous American societies, and they emerged around 1000 BC, and they laid the foundation for future societies in particularly the eastern United States, and their influence also spread throughout the successors, the Hopewell and the Mississippian cultures, and of course, those societies spanned much further than where the Adena typically ruled. So you could more or less say they kind of influenced the entire United States in a way. So the Adena society were marked by complex earthworks, which of course included burial mounds, ceremonial sites, and vast, intricate geometrical structures, some of which spanned hundreds of feet. These earthworks weren't just utilitarian. They were expressions of the Adena's religion, a now lost religion, and their understanding of the natural world around them, which probably played a role more or less in that religion. And that more or less, the mounds contained human burials, so more or less it had to have in some way, shape, or form served a religious sacrament, right? So there was a ritualistic component of their culture, and the ceremonial purposes were probably beyond just burial practices. Like I said, it played a role more or less in their religious life. And also, within these mountains, archaeologists have uncovered a quote-unquote wealth of artifacts. Things like tools, pottery, jewelry, and the remains of different plants and animals, which provides insights into the daily lives of the Adena culture or the Adena people. The Adena culture were skilled in woodworking, stone carving, and creating different items made from copper, shells, and stone. And evidence suggests that they participated in a very far-reaching trade network, acquiring exotic materials such as marine shells, obsidian, and mica, which were transported hundreds, potentially thousands of miles to their settlements. One of the most famous burial sites from the Adena culture is located at a site known as the Mound City, a complex burial mound in present-day Chillicothe, Ohio. The Mound City site consists of 23 mounds, many of which have already been excavated, revealing human remains and a treasure trove of different artifacts. In fact, the mound structures likely served as more than just burial sites. They may have been places for ceremonial gatherings where leaders and religious figures held sway over the people. Now, while the Adena people may have left behind some remarkable archaeological remnants, there is still much about their culture that remains unknown, specifically about their beliefs, their social structures, and the reasons behind their intricate burial practices. Now, let us turn to the second much debated aspect of the Adena culture, the phenomenon of elongated skulls. Elongated skulls are a striking and controversial aspect of the Adena burial mounds. These skulls, characterized by their elongated shape, have been found in several burial sites associated with the Adena culture. The question remains, why were some members of the Adena people buried with these peculiar cranial deformities? The practice of skull elongation, referred to as cranial deformation, was not unique to the Adena culture. It has been found in many different cultures across the world, as we were saying at the beginning of the video, including places like ancient cultures in Africa, South America, and the Pacific Islands. And it's no different in the Americas. The practice was also observed in various pre-Columbian groups, including the Mayans and the Inca. However, the Adena skulls are among the most famous examples of cranial deformation in North America. Cranial deformation was typically achieved by binding a child's head between two boards or through the use of a cradle board. As the child grew, the bones of the skull would naturally take on the desired elongated shape. This practice was often seen as a symbol of high status, with elongated skulls believed to represent beauty, intelligence, or perhaps even a divine connection of sorts. In the case of the Adena, the skulls found in their burial mounds suggest that this practice may have been reserved for elite individuals within their society, and some anthropologists argue that the elongated skulls may have been used to indicate the person's status, potentially as a leader, priest, or maybe a warrior of some kind, and others suggest that the practice may have had a more spiritual or ceremonial significance. What is more perplexing about these elongated skulls is that some researchers have suggested that the Adena culture may have been involved in something more than just cultural practices. There are some more quote-unquote fringe theories that claim the elongated skulls could be evidence of some sort of extraterrestrial or supernatural influence of some sort. And these theories are largely unsupported, we'll say, by mainstream archaeology, so we won't necessarily delve too much into them in this particular video, though we will be certainly delving into it in some later videos, so make sure to subscribe if that interests you. And the burial practices in Adena culture are pretty crucial to understanding their beliefs in the role of elongated skulls. The act of burying the dead with such care and ritual, it does indicate that the Adena people had a deep respect for their deceased and likely believed in some form of afterlife. The careful placement of bodies, often accompanied by rich grave goods, suggests that the deceased played an important role in society and that their journey into the afterlife was of paramount importance. The tombs and mounds themselves were likely symbolic as well. The burial sites may have represented the intersection of the physical and spiritual realms, with the deceased placed in these sacred structures as part of a journey toward the afterlife. The elaborate burial mounds found across the Adena territories speak to a belief system that transcended mere physical death and embraced a cosmic order. The presence of these elongated skulls within these mounds may have held symbolic significance, whether as a sign of social status, spiritual connection, or perhaps something else entirely. These skulls may have been intended to convey that the deceased have achieved something extraordinary, either in life or in death. And while much of the Adena culture remains shrouded in mystery, their contributions to the development of Native American societies is undeniable. The Earthworks, burial mounds, and artifacts provides us with a glimpse into a society that was far more sophisticated than we might have initially believed. The Adena culture laid the groundwork for future cultures, including the Hopewell and the Mississippian, who would later build upon their traditions. And as for the elongated skulls, they remain a symbol of both the complexity and the mystery surrounding this very ancient people. Are they evidence of a cultural practice, or perhaps something much deeper, more mystical? We may never know the full truth because we are dealing with ancient history here, yet the Adena culture continues to captivate our imagination, offering an enduring glimpse into the past, a past that is filled with both human ingenuity, engineering, and unfathomable mysteries. So thank you for joining us on this journey into the Adena culture and the fascinating mystery of the elongated skulls. And as we continue to uncover more about the ancient peoples who shaped North America, we can only wonder what other secrets lie buried beneath the earth here, waiting to be discovered. So until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the past to understand the present. It's been Doogie from Doogie's Earthworks. I love you.